Hey, Catherine. Hey, Mom. Hi, Michelle. It's a little dark. We have mood lighting today. I would have been on earlier, but as soon as I started to click the button, they started, hi, Tanya. They started sawing the boards outside, so that skill saw sound was kind of like, oh, wait a second. Good morning, Nina. Hey, Tanya, how's the kids? It is. Hey, Linda. It is raining here, and it's, so it's 11 o'clock, and it's still this dark-ish. It was cloudy and gray. Yay, Tanya made it. Tanya's had sick kids with teeth and stomach things. Good morning. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know or is watching the replay and joining us later, my name's Michelle Wolf. Yeah, I'm a coach for healers and helpers. I do Desire Map workshops as in groups. I also can do Desire Map processes individually as an individual coaching program. Poor Sterling. Teeth things are horrible. You can find me at caddyshackdesigns.com. Across the top are tabs that show everything. Definitely will put Sterling on the Reiki list. And this is a list of everything I do for today. It could change tomorrow. You never know. So we've sure talked about some heavy material this week. Intense material this week. So when we're done, I had said the other day I was going to draw a card and I totally forgot. So I have the vintage deck over here. We can draw lavender on one of her daughters is allergic to lavender. I don't know if it's this one, but one of them is. So don't let me forget, if I start winding up, remind me to draw a card for us for the group, because that'll be fun. And today we are reading from A Course in Miracles, like we do every day. I know it's a bummer, right? Because lavender is so useful for so many things. I also do Young Living essential oils. My sister Katie 1010 right there is an essential oil person you may want to follow, because she does cool gifts and crafts and stuff like that with oils. This is the book we're reading from. And today's is lesson 297. We talked about seeing through the eyes of spirit, speaking with the voice of spirit, and today we're talking about forgiveness. So I put something in there about grief, which relates to this. And I'm going to read this. We'll talk about a grief aspect that comes with daily practice, and then we'll pull a card, because it's Saturday, and why not? I thought I was forgetting something, but I guess not. Okay. Forgiveness is the only gift I give. Forgiveness is the only gift I give because it is the only gift I want. And everything I give myself. This is salvation's simple formula. And I, who would be saved, would make it mine to be the way I live within a world that needs salvation, and that will be saved as I accept atonement for myself. No, but I can show you the door, buddy. Bye-bye. Yuck. Ugh. I feel like I have a hairball. So gross. Yeah, super gross. And since I'm like the centerfold for National Geographic May 2015, he would have been terrified. I breastfed my baby. You know what that does. Yeah, I haven't had one of those. So, yay me. I had my first yucky open Bob's troll. Ugh. Jana, are you on here? Jana's also an oil person. So yucky, so yucky. So, Now I'm not going to be able to stop laughing. What a jerk. Pervy troll. Yay, me. Woohoo. You know you're somebody when you get pervy trolls. That's so disgusting. Yeah. Father, how certain are your ways to send us pervy trolls? Oh God, I gotta get a flashlight. Hold on, I can't see what the hell I'm reading. If they could see me now. I'm losing it. All right. There's nothing in my coffee but coffee, I promise. Father, how certain are your ways, how sure their final outcome, and how faithfully is every step in my salvation set already and accomplished by your grace. Thanks be to you for your eternal gifts, and thanks to you for my identity. My identity as an aspect of Source. So forgiveness is the only gift I give. It's the only gift I want. And everything I give myself. Everything I give to you, I give me. Everything I send out to you, I send back to me, good and bad. So I want to be sure I'm always offering love and forgiveness, which in my mind, forgiveness is just understanding that there was really nothing to forgive in the first place. Yeah. It is. This is salvation's simple formula. It's very simple. We make it very complicated because it feels complicated, right? Sometimes it just feels impossible. And let me tell you, I still have, right? It's so simple, boy, can we complicate stuff. And, I own that I have some very small amount, just a few people, but that I'm still hard-hearted toward. The forgiveness thing is a long time coming with a couple of people, and, it's something I think about. I was thinking about it just the other day, like, wow, you'd think I might be moving past this by now, but I haven't yet. So what I'll do with that is if you're stuck and you can't find a place of forgiveness, you can do a lot of loving kindness practice. And that's the thing where you sit and you think about anything you can that will generate a feeling of love, puppies, kittens, your kids, your spouse, if they're not putting your coffee cup on the top shelf, and you feel loving toward them that day, you can use them. Otherwise, leave them off the list for another day. You can think about anything that can make you feel loving, and then you can transfer that to yourself, and you can transfer that to the people who you find it easy to love. And then you try and transfer it to people that you find very difficult to love or who you struggle to forgive. Like sometimes we can intellectually forgive people, but when we think about it, we still have that little hard spot in our heart is the only way I can think to describe it. It feels like there are certain people, when I think about them, my heart just goes flat, like numb and hard. And that's not how I want to live my life. So I will continue to work on that. But for today, I would say it's 50% better, but still there. So loving kindness practice can help when you are stuck in a hard spot with someone that's hard to forgive, hard to love, hard to forgive. Another thing you can do is to understand or try to picture that person as a child. Yeah, it just hurts us. We have those hard spots in our heart. It's not hurting that. It's not hurting them. It's not hurting that person. It's only hurting me. I'm thankful that I'm aware of it because I know where I still need to chip away at some stuff. So I'm glad to have the awareness that I'm not 100% forgiving everybody. So there's still, all that means is not like anything I have to shame myself for or get mad about. It just means that there's still a hook there somewhere that's probably related, that's probably unrelated to that person. For it to be so hard to forgive someone, a lot of times the hook that's got you is a prior event or a prior person that's now compounded by the current or recent event and the current or recent person. So if it's like doubled up or tripled up, if it's someone who's harmed you in your perception in a similar way as before, or who looks like a person who harmed you, or has characteristics of a person who harmed you before, then you've doubled up. You can double, triple, quadruple up. It's called compounded grief, actually. So the reason I put grief on there is grief can get in the way of forgiveness too. Because if you're not done grieving the incident or incidents, it's very, very hard to let go. That's why you can't tell someone, well, just forgive them and move on. And you hear about incidents where people say immediately after a tragedy that they forgive that person. I highly doubt that. If they have truly forgiven that person and they don't go through a grieving process, then they need to be sainted, because I find that hard to grasp. That anyway, grieving has to happen, and grieving can happen in a daily spiritual practice because you're grieving the loss of what you thought life was supposed to be. So we got handed a basket of rules and expectations and stories about how life was going to be. That if we did it right, our lives would be good. If we were good, our lives would be good. If we obeyed our parents, yes. If we obeyed our parents and did what our teacher said, and we studied hard and did well in school, then we went to college or whatever, got good jobs, had retirement plans, 2 kids, whatever. And that's very, very rarely how life turns out for anyone at all, and definitely not for anybody who's on this scope. Yeah, grieving that the dream didn't happen. So we got handed expectations that were related to us doing certain parts. So if we feel like, well, we held up our end and life didn't, then because life couldn't, because life's not designed that way, we not only can, but I believe that we need to acknowledge the loss of that dream. Yes, you wake up one day and you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck? I went to school, I did what my teacher said, I kind of stayed out of trouble for the most part, I followed the rules, I did what I was supposed to do, and I feel like I'm a good person. Why isn't this working better? It doesn't work like that. We got handed Disneyland, Disney storylines, and we all know that Disney is where happiness goes to die, because that place is hell. But you know what I mean? Like, we didn't understand as kids that those were stories, that's how we would like it to be, but it's not how it is. Okay. Have you guys seen that cartoon running around where it's a little stick figure riding up a mountain, or it has like a little stick figure on a bicycle here, and life here, and your plans are in your head are like a straight line, but it's actually like drop-offs into chasms and tacoed wheels and, broken bones, and it's a mess. Life's a mess, right? It's totally messy and hard. So you may get to and then you can run across spiritual disciplines that are, I would say, pseudo-spiritual. It's pretty cute. I'll see if I can find it, and I'll put it in our little group, or I'll try and print it and show it to you guys. We can run across then pseudo-spiritual stuff that is like, well, just focus on the positive. Just forgive, focus on the positive, and you'll be fine. Yeah, this ticket is spoiled. I was supposed to be wealthy and beautiful. Yeah, we'd like a refund some days, right? Like, excuse me, this is not the movie I bought a ticket for. Ouch, that's hot. I want to speak to the manager. Right, what happened? And it's hurtful, right? You feel like you can feel so disappointed that you worked so hard and you feel like you did so much and things aren't turning out like you thought they were going to. They're actually turning out better than you can imagine, but the process is, you know what I'm talking about. It can be hard and complicated and painful. And it's important. Yeah, you feel like you're a good person. You're like, I'm a good person. Why is this shit happening? How come this isn't going better? At my age is one I hear clients say all the time, and I have caught myself saying too. At my age, this should be better by now. At my age, I should know better by now, or I should have this, and this checked off my life to-do list by now. I should be a homeowner. I should have a 401k. I should have 2 cars, or, I should have a vacation home in Ireland. Yeah, I'm grieving this fake story right now. At my age, I got handed a load of bullshit. And when we wake up from that, yeah, you're just like, God, what the fuck? Where's my personal jet? It's disappointing. It's sad. And it's okay to acknowledge that a grieving process needs to happen. I hope they're just thunking around and not actually knocking on the door. I don't want to deal with deck builders. They're nice guys. They're just saying a year ago, I didn't sign up for this and I never thought I would be here. Right. This is someone else's bullshit life. It's hard not to want all that and compare ourselves to others who seem to have it all. Yes, such a terrible habit we do, especially if we're looking at our peer group. So when I look at people who are approaching 50, a lot of my friends' lives look very different than mine. Yes, you're getting one. Yes, Nina, damn it. That's it. Right? We're just like, oh, what happened to me? How come I'm approaching 50 and not here? How come I'm approaching 60 or 40 or whatever, 70, and I'm not where I thought it was going to be? But even people who seem to have it all don't. People who seem to lead charmed lives still struggle. And who cares if they don't, right? Because we kind of say that to make ourselves feel better. Seem is the key word. We never know what they're going through. Right, poor Whitney Houston. And yes, and bless Robin Williams' heart. My God, from the outside, the man had everything. Everything to give, everything to live for, and yet couldn't. So we don't know. We really don't. And even if they aren't suffering, yes, and Lamar, is that a sports person? Name sounds familiar. Oh, God. Oh, okay. I don't follow the sports too much. I like hockey. So is the bad part that he got caught with drugs and hookers, or is it that he has to go back to a Kardashian? Which is the hardest part? Because I would think having to go back to a Kardashian would be worse than just about anything. Both. You'll think about it. When you catch yourself comparing and feeling bad about where you are in your life, just acknowledge that you're grieving the end of a personal era. You're grieving the end of your story, and you're making a new story, but in between the ending of the old story and the beginning of the new story, there can be a gap that can feel pretty sad and pretty lonely. And the faster you acknowledge that, and the faster you let yourself have a good cry about it, and or be mad about it, or process whatever emotions you feel. You can even have, I've had clients do this before. Yeah, I think a lot of people on this call are in between. They're in between one or the other. They're in between one stage ending and a new stage beginning, and the in between is rich with opportunity, but it can feel like a desert wasteland or a post-apocalyptic vision of madness. Yeah. So, me too, Michelle. Me too. I thank God every day for our group. Transitioning from one place to another is rough. Just like giving birth. The transition part is rough. If you haven't given birth, go YouTube it. It's horrible. Santa didn't bring the jet. I did get a bunch of other goodies. Yeah, we did. And it can be hard to see those blessings when you haven't gone through the grieving process yet. So let me give you a couple of examples and a couple of techniques, and then we'll draw a card. 2 things. When I used to work with adolescents a lot, moms in particular needed to grieve their kids moving from the 8 to 10-year-old little girl or boy who wanted to hang out with mom and wanted to go shopping with mom and couldn't wait to get home to tell mom stuff. Then they turn into a teenager and they want nothing to do with you, and it's so hurtful. Moms who don't acknowledge the loss of that kid can't fully welcome this new, surly, trying so hard to be independent kid. So it's like you got ripped off in a way. You had this neat kid who was kind of your friend, and now you have this moody monster. Yeah, it is sad for a while. But it's the same as when they aren't infants anymore either. They're not toddlers anymore either. And it's not so dramatic. So we don't go through grieving processes really when they're younger. But moms especially need to process a grief when they lose the sweet kid who wanted everything to do with them. And they have to learn a whole new person, right? Your 8 to 10-year-old, yeah, each age has good, but it's okay to be sad about the earlier characteristics are gone, and they're gone some of them are gone forever. Hi, Kim. Some of them are gone forever. They're never going to come back. Some of them come back in a different form. But you have to grieve that loss. It's weird, and I loved their baby years, so I'm so glad that they're older, right? Yeah. Babies are hard. And they can have conversations. Good morning. They can feed themselves. They have interesting ideas. It's hard to welcome the good parts of adolescence until you let go of what you've lost. Right. Same thing with life. When you recognize the stories you were told were wrong and you start picking them apart, and Tanya's like the earth mother. You seem like the person who's a natural mom. Oh, goodness. Yeah. I had one, and I would have had 2 had circumstances been different, but I'm sure I wouldn't have had more than 2. Bless your heart. 2 and done. Blessed be. Yeah. So, as we're going through this stuff, as we have since the end of August, and you recognize you're still functioning under some disappointing storylines, let yourself grieve it. Let yourself be sad about it. Let yourself be angry about it. That you may feel ripped off, and you may feel a great deal of loss, and then confusion about where to go next. Where you go next is continually choosing to connect with Source and let that lead the way. You can get caught up in wanting a written guarantee of what that's going to look like, or a step-by-step manual of what that's going to look like if you go through life choosing love and choosing God first. Sorry, you don't get one. You just got to do it and see what happens. So having an attitude of curiosity can help you. You've got nothing to lose, okay? You've gone through life not connected to Source. You've gone through life not choosing to see love instead of fear. How's it working, Dr. Phil? How's that working for you? So you have nothing to lose by spending 30, 60, 90 days making choosing love and dismantling your stories your ultimate priority. Give it 30 days and see what happens. Give 30 days to love, to choosing love deliberately. You've never been a parent of teenagers and you're doing pretty darn good. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You've never done it. So in the same vein, as you choose to see life differently and function from new storylines, you'll also do pretty darn good. Because it's what we do. Don't let your ego brain, love you, glad you made it. Don't let your ego brain tell you it's not going to work, so you might as well not do it anyway. Let's have ourselves a card, a group card. Kim, if you're still here, you got here just in time. We talked about some good stuff today, so if you get a chance to watch the replay. Let me shuffle. We're using the Vintage Wisdom deck for fun today. Drawing a card for the whole group, everybody who's here right now, and everybody who watches the replay. Speaking of replays, is anyone else having Sarah Ballard withdrawal while she's off enjoying herself, and taking care of herself and doing fun stuff? She hasn't scoped in a while. I saw Jess did coffee and cards yesterday. I missed it. I watched about, probably half of it on the replay, but she hadn't done that in a while. I was missing that too. On Instagram, I need to get better about scrolling through Instagram. Instagram's more fun than Twitter, but I forget about it because I'm fairly new to it. Instagram's the place where I put all my cat pictures without guilt. Instagram's all about the cat. It's cats. All 5 of them. Oh boy. I don't have many I follow. Yeah, I'm following too many guilt-free cat postings. I feel bad if I fill up my Facebook feed and my Twitter feed and stuff with cats. Although I don't know why. Who gives a shit? It's my stuff. And I got 5 of them, so I have plenty of photo opportunities. Speaking of photo opportunities, I've got to do family photos of the moms and the twins soon. It's pretty loud. Okay, so my hands popped open in 2 different places. Thank you. I got the card deck broke in 2 places. Well, I'm glad, because they're going to keep coming. So we're going to read both of them, just for fun. So we have listening, and the other place the deck fell open is wisdom. Listening and wisdom. Well, that's all we need to know. We probably don't even need to read the book. Listening and wisdom for the group today. So let's see. Yeah. So let's start with listening popped open first. Whoops. Wrong side. Can you see that without a glare? Listening. Look how beautiful that artwork is. This deck, first of all, the person who created this deck is brilliant, because they took all these copyright-free, royalty-free vintage photos, which anybody can use, turned it into an amazing oracle deck with some Photoshop. So smart. Plus, we get to enjoy the gorgeousness. Can you guys hear that drill outside? listening. Okay. Let me get the flashlight. It's kind of dark in here. If I turn the light on, then I'm blinded by it. If I don't turn the light on, I can't see the text. The ancestor card is really her old photo, though. Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. That's really cool. A solitary winged maiden reclines in the canopy of a woodland glade. Her resplendent wings turn inward as she purposefully takes time to engage in listening to the songs of her feathered friends, the birds. In this modern age, more and more emphasis is placed on the role of speaking out, but few people take time to truly give of themselves by practicing the forgotten art of listening to each other. The deeper implication means we have forgotten how to listen to ourselves. Okay? We've forgotten how to listen to ourselves. We've forgotten how to be quiet long enough to hear that still small voice. The deeper implications means we have forgotten how to listen to ourselves, the wisdom which comes from our heart and our connection to nature. If you sit very still in nature, things start to approach you. Birds and raccoons, depending on where you're living. I mean, if you're scared of raccoons, that's bad, but they won't hurt you. Unless you're holding a cheeseburger, and then you're doomed. An old Italian proverb says, "From listening comes wisdom." We got the listening card and the wisdom card. And from listening comes wisdom, correct? Yes. When we truly listen, we can learn a great deal. In times of crisis, we seek out wise people, those who by the virtue of listening have earned the right to be heard. In addition to listening to others, this intimate art develops a willingness to listen within to the ever-present forces of the conscience of the soul and to the voice of Mother Nature. There is no place for loneliness if we allow ourselves to truly listen to their wisdom. You also will not feel lonely when you are in communion with Source on a regular basis. You might still want a companion or companionship, but you won't feel that empty, aching kind of restless loneliness. Date yourself if you need to. Take yourself on romantic outings if you need to do that for yourself. By drawing this card, the higher power urges you to be open, responsive, and present in your approach to life. By listening carefully, you will not only gain new insight, you won't need it, in that needy way. I love taking myself to the movies too, Linda. I hate that we live so far away from an AMC theater because those are my favorite. By drawing this card, the higher power urges you to be open, responsive, and present in your approach to life. By listening carefully, you will not only gain new insight and perspective, but you will also bequeath others with one of the most precious gifts of all. Isn't listening like the most present, fully present, just listening is one of the best gifts we can give each other? Yes, don't take yourself shopping if it's going to hurt your credit cards. I like going to movies with other people, but I also really like going by myself because I'm kind of a bitch about it. I want to sit in a certain place. That's where I let my my pickiness come out at the movie theater. It's so easy but hard to do. It is. It just takes practice, more practice. Just like anything else. So here's the wisdom card. Look how beautiful she is. She looks like she's listening too. And there's the owl. I've hushed people before too, Catherine. I will turn right around and say, you need to stop talking. Because I just paid $10 to get in here. And I am waiting to see this movie. And you need to shut up. I also will tell people to stop texting if they're lasering in my eyeball. I'm not mean about it. I'm actually really polite. I'm exaggerating. But I will say, could you please stop talking? And then in my inside voice, I say, if you don't stop talking, I'm going to get violent. My interior violent voice. Wisdom. See the owl on her shoulder? The owl lights up, is it Athena's blind side? So she can see fully. So she can be fully wise. Well, really, when it costs $12 to get into a movie and then you just drop $20 for a Coke and popcorn, right, I will knock you the fuck out. You put that cell phone away or you're going to be having that cell phone put in a place where you do not want it to go. Now, mister. Wisdom. Let's read about wisdom while we're thinking violent thoughts about texters in movie theaters. That's my inside voice. My inside voice says all kinds of stuff. Ugh, if I catch myself sitting close to teenagers, I get up and move. If I can. If I can move, I will. Wisdom. The wisdom to not speak your inside voice. Let your inside voice be your inside voice alone. Wisdom. The last rays of the setting sun fall on this portrayal, of mythic Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom, and her wise protector, the little owl. We're surrounded by owls here, and I love them. As stealthy night hunters, owls are revered as powerful totems. They have the ability to see things others miss, coupled with an acute sense of instinct. In ancient Greek mythology, Athena was said to have a blind side on which the owl would sit, enabling her to see the whole truth. She wears a rose, symbolic of love and the marriage between love and truth. That's cool. After all, without love, there can be no wisdom. And that is very true. Let's see, and turn the page. By drawing this card, you are invited to contemplate the far-ranging consequences of important decisions. Did you guys see that? My screen just went black because of an alarm went off. That was weird. So I think this probably relates to a lot of people on this scope still. Bless your hearts for hanging out this long. By drawing this card, you are invited to contemplate the far-ranging consequences of important decisions. Oh, that's super cool. Owl stories are cool. Athena calls you to reflect upon valuable insights gained from your life experiences and to decipher truth from half-truth. So this could be taking a look at what people around you are telling you. Same thing. And what you may be telling yourself. So it might be an important question to ask. Am I telling myself the whole truth? Am I hearing the whole truth from the people around me? Am I seeing the whole truth in a situation that I'm grappling with? This would be a good time if you're grappling with a situation or a person to say, what else do I need to see? Or how can I see this differently? What other information do I need? And then open up to it. Be open up to receiving that information however it can get to you. Wisdom is earned through the human experience of trial and error, and by trusting your inner voice, not the violent one, the wise one, over the voice of others. Please trust your own voice over the voice of anybody else, living or dead. The willingness to learn from experience and be objective about the mistakes of the past reveals the mighty value of wisdom. It is funny. A clever mind can be an asset or an enemy. Right. Yes. Maybe some chocolate cake. A clever mind can be an asset or an enemy, but it's by no means a measure of wisdom or spiritual intelligence. There is a world of difference between the two, okay? There's a world of difference between cleverness and actual spirituality. You'll see a lot of cleverness on display. Wisdom is quieter. Inside ourselves, it's quieter. And when we are working with people or learning from people, it's a quieter Quiet's the only word I can think to put on it, but you know what I mean. In the words of Sandra Carey, never mistake knowledge for wisdom. One helps you make a living, the other helps you make a life. Yes. If you find yourself in a predicament, Athena reminds you to use wisdom to quiet the mind and shine a light on that which needs to be seen. These two cards go together so well. If you're caught up in a predicament, quieting the mind and listening will open you up to the full truth if you're missing something. Can be inside yourself or in a situation with others. The feeling I'm getting from both these cards together is that one of us or all of us needs some more information about a situation. Whatever that situation may be, there seems to be a real strong sense of something more needs to be seen. And this doesn't have to be a negative thing at all. It can be entirely positive. We could be, right, they totally go with our topic today. This could be that you are overlooking something extremely positive in your environment and you're not seeing it because of your old storyline. It could be that old behaviors are going on that need to be spotlighted and addressed in ourselves or others. But I really get a strong sense as we're talking that there is some missing information, and the way to get to it is to say that you want to see. I want to see whatever I'm missing. Regardless of how it may make me feel, I'm going to be open because I know I have the strength to survive whatever I find out if it's negative. Negatives may look negative initially, but may also be very positive. I'll listen as I clean for more information regarding the funds in retirement. Down with old stories. Damn the old stories. Let them go. Write new ones. The old story which says your husband put the coffee cup on the top shelf again on purpose is probably not true. The better story is, God, I'm glad Heath unloaded the dishwasher so I didn't have to. Right? But I will say my first thought was, is he doing that on purpose? You caught yourself, though. Thank you, stories, but I'm rewriting now. Right, it's not bad. It's not like that you've done something wrong. Oh, excellent. Excellent, Linda. You're not a bad person for having the stories that you have. You're just making a different choice. So it's no more complicated than saying, for 50 years I've liked chocolate ice cream, and now I think I'm going to branch out and have strawberry for a while. That's all it is. He does. Well, I don't know if he has a sense of humor, if he just ignores me a lot. He just knows that I'm always like, and so he just, guys are good at tuning that stuff out. I actually don't whine much. I do whine some. His goal is to get the dishwasher unloaded, and he's just shoving stuff in the cabinets. He doesn't think that, crap, that's Michelle's favorite coffee mug. Because you know what? It's not his job to know what my favorite coffee cup is. That's my job. And I can use a spoon to, a serving spoon to grab the handle and pull it off and catch it. And really, there's like a zillion cups in there. It doesn't have to be the super special elk cup. So I'm pretty amazed. Yeah, acrobatics. That we all had a need to hear something about listening and wisdom. Yes, it does. Athena calls you to reflect upon valuable insights. It does taste better in my favorite cup. And I really do allow myself to be I allow my human self, my ego self, little areas of indulgence for balance. Yes, it's the right amount. That's very much yanking my knee up. So the one section I really want to stress in everything that we've talked about today is very good point, Kim. I have to say, Heath, the elk cup is my favorite cup and I use it every day. Please just leave it on the counter and thank you for unloading the dishwasher so that I didn't have to do it. A much more adult way to handle it. Be careful of your clever mind. Be careful of your mind that wants to weave a lot of complication into something that's not complicated. A clever mind can be an asset or enemy, but it's by no means a measure of wisdom or spiritual intelligence. Simplicity at its finest. Be careful of when you're listening to people who appear to be very clever, but you get the sense that they are not spiritually wise. You can be clever and you can have powers. You can be clever and an idiot. Yes. Well said, Nina. You can be clever and an idiot. You can have lots of powers and not be spiritually awakened at all. You can have lots of skills. You can be an excellent anything and not be wise. So be careful of your own clever mind and be careful of other people's clever shenanigans. Just always go with your gut, I guess, is how I'd wrap that up. If you feel like you need to grieve the loss of the dreams that you thought were coming your way and now you know are not, let yourself grieve that. If you need to be angry, let yourself be angry. There's a time and a place for what we label negative emotions. Emotions are just energy. And if we allow them to be just energy, they roll up in us and right out of us. When we fight against them, we create a mess. We get a hydra. We chop one head off and two more grow back in its place. So wisdom and listening. Listen to yourself today. Listen if you're trying to tell yourself some truth that will lead you to further wisdom. Listen for that still small voice that may have some very interesting information for you on your path through these transition times of our lives, where we're transitioning from one state to another, or transitioning from one phase of thought, one story to another story. Be respectful of the in-between time and what it needs to. Most often, your emotions just need a witness and some compassion. Witnessing and compassion and acknowledging that I didn't get what I thought I was going to get and I need to grieve about it so that I can move on. That's a clean way of handling emotions. Shaming yourself and being angry about your anger. Transitioning times of our lives. A soap opera. I got it. These are the times of our lives. The days of our lives, right? These are the days of our lives. So I guess in my mind, the cards go together as the listening leads to the wisdom. And the listening is the one that came first in the deck. And the wisdom came second. Okay, see you later. Yeah. Hugs to you too. Thanks for joining us. Listening leads to wisdom. Let's say that. It is. It's very funny sometimes. We have comedy with our tragedy, don't we? So, here's to elk cups. Cheers to Saturdays. You too. You emoji wizard, you. I'll be heading down to Loganville and the Twins this afternoon to help Sarah for the next few days. So I'll be scoping from down there. So we'll do our best to stay focused, but you know, I can't make any promises. So I'm going to go. Thanks for coming today. Enjoy your Saturday. And I'll see you tomorrow. Yes, there's a Twitter webinar. Oh my gosh, is it already that close to noon? Boy, I've been rattling on for a long time. Okay. Bye. Thank you. Thanks for the hearts and the shares. And I'll see you tomorrow.